All right, what's going on, world? We are live, man. What's up, everybody? What's up, Tim? What's up, Chuck?
What's up?
How's it going?
Man, another day, man. Another day. All right, let me see if I can connect to the chat. Make sure everything's working here. I had my computer kind of worked on, kind of. Notice I said kind of. I don't know what that means, but hopefully it worked.
Hey, I hope Chuck had his work done too.
All right, Tim, you better knock on some wood, bro. You be the one tonight. You be stuck. Stuck like Chuck. No pun intended, Chuck.
Chuck.
Yes.
What's good, Jeezy? What is up, Jeezy? Thank you for tuning in, my dude. Let me see here. All right, so tonight we will be talking about something that's pretty controversial, if I may say so myself. Shonda, what's up? What's up? What's up? Appreciate you tuning in. Everybody to come in, hit that like button, share the stream. It helps the stream go a long way, man. Helps out a lot. So make sure you guys do that. And comment, man. Let us know, man. We want to interact with you guys throughout the this chat. But as people are coming in here, man, let's give them like 2 or 3 minutes to get in here, man. Chuck, tell me what's going on. What's going on in H-Town, baby?
Nothing much. Just getting hot as usual.
Yeah, man. I bet. Tim.
Yo.
What's going on in Tampa? Even though I'm here in Tampa, what's going on in your neck of the woods, man? Man, we ain't balled in forever, bro.
We haven't, man. We haven't balled in since February.
Man, dude, it's been a minute, man.
Gosh.
I bet y'all still got it though. You know.
I don't think so.
You know, I mean that's debatable. I guess. You know.
We'll see when we first step back on the court in 2021.
Oh yeah, 2021.
At this rate, it might be 2025.
Yeah, I'm telling you, boy, it's been crazy. Anyway, so let's see. We got some more people in here. We got Amir Castillo. I mean, I probably butchered the name, bro. My bad. What's up, man? Appreciate you tuning in. You've been tuning in a lot, baby. I appreciate it. And then we got Dylan. What's up, man?
Dylan.
So all right, man, let's get right up into it, man. I sent the stream out to a couple people just to remind them because they told me they wanted to join in. So they wanted to view the stream. So man, let's start this thing off, man. Smooth 23. What's up, baby? What's up, man?
What's up, guys?
How you doing, bro?
Going.
So for everybody that's just tuning in, make sure you guys hit that like button. It helps the stream go up, man. I appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for tuning in every Monday night, 9 p.m. So today we're going to be talking about something a little bit different, but it's extremely relevant. And y'all know me. I like to use my platform any way that I can. What's up, D. Reed? Appreciate you tuning in. Everybody check out her YouTube page, man. She got a lot of heat on there. New YouTuber, but she is popping right now, for real. So y'all know I like to use my platform any way I can on the most positive vibes. And unfortunately, sometimes in the world, in order for us to achieve that positivity, we have to address some things that causes some negativity. So that's what we're gonna do tonight. You know, we're gonna keep all political conversations and stuff to the side. We're gonna keep it all sports driven. But at the same time, we're gonna be very real with you guys. And the two gentlemen that you see on the screen with me are some real individuals. So that's what we're gonna do. So over the last couple of weeks, pretty week or so, we've had a lot of celebrities and athletes speak out about some different things that's been going on as far as social injustice in the world. I would say just the United States, but hey, it's everywhere. Let's keep it 100 with people. But particularly within the sports industry. So we had Drew Brees. I say that with a smile. We had Drew Brees come out and say some comments that we felt like that we needed to talk about tonight. Get each person's opinion on them, and also you guys in the chat, get your opinions on his comments. And then from there, we'll go on to, LeBron addressing some of those comments, fellow teammates of Drew Brees addressing those comments, Roger Goodell addressing those comments, and moving forward for the NFL, what does that look like? We'll kind of dial in with each person giving their viewpoints on what exactly is going to cause some change, and what does the NFL season look like for the rest of the season. So with that being said, for those that don't know, Chuck, can you kind of explain in a paraphrase what happened with Drew Brees for everybody that don't know?
Sure. So he had an interview with Yahoo Finance. It was either Thursday or Friday, and it was a question in regards to the kneeling that was going on for the past few years, and it's been a lot of talk of players doing that again. And the question was asked to him about what would he do as a leader if that were to happen. And in a nutshell, he pretty much gave an answer that was solely driven on his own viewpoint, and now he's getting a lot of turmoil because of it.
Yeah, Amir said Shannon Sharp went in on Drew Brees. I gotta see it, bro. I haven't seen it. I love Shannon, man. Sometimes until he start talking about LeBron's the GOAT, but that's still funny too, man. I mean, you gotta be honest, right? It's hilarious with his backwoods.
In his yak. In his yak.
In his yak. So
Coach.
So Tim, kind of pop us off, man. For those of you that don't know, my man Tim is extremely educated, and I'm not saying Chuck is not either, but Tim is one of those people where he does his due diligence when it comes to topics like this, when it comes to social injustice, when it comes to racism and all that stuff. And so any of the things that we're saying here is not going to be things that we're pulling from, back there, down there, It's none of that stuff. It's going to be really our opinions, our thoughts, and it's going to be God driven, most importantly. So, Tim, how do you feel about what Drew Brees had to say?
So, I think what Drew Brees had to say was just it was awful. I think it was awful timing. And I mean, he couldn't have picked a worse time in his entire life to speak that type of opinion. Had he shared that type of opinion 4 years ago, 3 years ago, it wouldn't have made the type of noise that it made. So why did it make so much noise right now? It made so much noise right now because I assume his home is in New Orleans, that's where he lives. I'm not sure, but wherever he lives, whatever state he lives in and resides in right now, there's currently some sort of protest going on in his city. And so for him to make those type of remarks at this time, based off of what's going on in the world right now, he should have known better. One, two, he should have known that he was going to get some flack. And so because he made those remarks and he starts referring to his grandfather and his great grandfather who fought in the war as if they're the only ones who fought in that war, it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, and rightly so. And so we heard very expeditiously from his teammates, from people in other sports like LeBron. I think we heard from a baseball player as well, hockey player as well, NASCAR drivers who all had something to say about it, and not in support of what Drew had to say. I will say that because, and I think, I kind of touched on this earlier talking to you guys, that because he made that public statement, he was right in the second go around, because initially he issued a written thing that his PR people put together for him and then put that out. But then he later came back and put out a video so that he could make a public apology. And I think that was more well received than the written piece, because the written piece, we all know that didn't come straight from Drew Brees.
Yeah, hold up. Jeezy said, yeah, he said Drew Brees. Yeah, Jeezy stays in New Orleans. He said, yeah, he lives down there.
Okay. So appreciate that, Jeezy. So he absolutely knows what's happening downtown, French Quarter, wherever it's going on there in New Orleans. He's aware of it. It's all over his local news. I'm positive. So, I'm glad he made the public apology, because I'm not one to like when people make a public statement and then want to issue a private apology. If you're going to issue a public statement, issue the same public apology. Is my thoughts. He's received a lot of flack, and I mean, I think they took up almost the entire 2 days after that on your sports shows, First Take and FS1 and all that, talking about this particular thing for almost the duration of the entire show. So he deserved it. He's made up for it, and I think we're going to dive into a few more conversations about him speaking to his teammates and stuff like that. But the way that they reacted to him, his teammates who came out and said something on their social media platforms, the other athletes who said something on their social media platforms, I think they did so. I think they were right in doing so because it could reach the masses, but also doing so like in the manner that they did put a lot of pressure, not only on him, but other people who've made ill-advised statements as well.
Yeah. So let me get some of this chat. I appreciate it, Tim. Chuck, I'm gonna let you go here in a second. So we got my dude, Old Man Sneakers, man. He has a YouTube page. Make sure y'all check him out. It'd be a lot of YouTubers in the chat. So everybody that's watching, if you are not subscribed to Jeezy, Old Man Sneakers, D Reed's Heat, make sure you guys go ahead and do that. So we got Greg says Drew Brees showed you who he is as a person. He started the same feelings 4 years ago. Apology not accepted. He's protecting his legacy at this point. Okay, and definitely, I can feel what you're saying. We're gonna talk about that. He is complete tone deaf. He had a complete tone that moment he had. Okay. What's up? Shoes up, sleeves down. Another YouTuber. Yeah. So I mean, a couple of things that you said, Tim, before I let you go, Chuck, that I did want to talk about that you said. I 100% agree. Timing was absolutely horrible, and it's kind of one of those things, bro. A lot of people react on social media as an outlet just right away. You know, they don't think before they post or comment. And also, Drew Brees had time to prepare for this interview. Now, did he know the questions that were gonna be asked? I mean, maybe so. But what I'm saying is that he's made a career for a long time doing interviews, and he knows the tact when it comes to, or etiquette when it comes to having an interview. So I feel like that he got caught up in his emotions and his feelings. Those are probably genuine feelings, the way that he feel about what he said. Is his apology sincere? It's not my place to make judgment on that. Do I feel like he done wrong? I do feel like he done wrong. Not so much maybe with the comments, but maybe like you said, with the timing. It wasn't the right timing for him. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I shouldn't have said that, because now look at if it would have been received differently, I would be behind this. But because it wasn't received the way that he wanted it to, I felt like that's when he started to be like, oh, okay, I shouldn't have said that. But I do agree with you 100%, bro. He said it publicly, so it needs to be addressed publicly. I do like the way that the Saints have been having private meetings with them, though, for those people that do want to address them privately. I do like that aspect of it. I feel like as an individual, when you go to somebody in private, you're doing it. Sometimes it might hit differently between me and you, opposed to everybody else seeing it in the media portraying it as a argument. So I do appreciate that aspect of it also. But you're right, everything that's being said publicly that about it, our conversation that we're having tonight about it, just because it was said, I feel like these are conversations that need to be said, because people need to realize, with social media and with interviews, when you say something, you stuck with what you said, and some people not going to accept that apology. Like, some people are not. People are hurting. It's a lot of things going on, and we need to be very, very careful. But my little bro Tim Jones. Oh, is that your brother for real?
Man, that's my cousin. He
okay.
Up in Baltimore.
Hey, what's up? What's up, Steven? Steven? Did I say Steven? Okay.
Steven.
His answer definitely showed he was speaking to a certain base. Facts. I agree. Jeezy, I agree, and at this point, he feels the backing from that audience is more important. I agree. Chuck, you got the floor, my dude. What do you think about the comments?
Just like what somebody just mentioned in the comments, it was insensitive and it was tone deaf. He had an opportunity to unite his teammates in this troubling time. He could have very well said, I don't agree with kneeling for the flag, but I will support my teammates through these troubling times. Just like what you mentioned, an escape answer, so that way he doesn't necessarily have to give away his complete viewpoint. But that answer he gave kind of came across as a generic company answer that was brought on 3-4 years ago when it first started. And since that time, things have changed dramatically. I don't want to go into details, but the world has changed. Our viewpoints have changed some. And I believe his comments should have reflected that. And now he's going to have to do some damage control with his teammates. Some of his teammates came out, critiqued him very harshly, and it's going to take some time, maybe this off season, during the season, where he's just going to have to repair repair wounds with each teammate, talk to them individually, try to work things out, and also with the community, show the community that he's sincere. Actions speak louder than words, and those are my thoughts.
I agree, man. I agree. I felt it was said, no going back. He deserved what he gets. Old man sneakers and Drew Brees is too little, too late situation. So I mean, I kind of want to give my viewpoint on it. I do agree that he said what he said. I agree 100%. He was insincere in what he was saying. I agree that he's gonna have to do some damage control. It was bad timing. Probably shows his true colors. I'm gonna take a different route with this than what everybody else is going with it. My prayers is that by him doing this and the damage that he's caused, it pierces his heart and creates some change in him. We talked about when we first started this, is that sometimes it takes negative situations for us to realize that change needs to happen. And maybe him coming out saying these completely ridiculous comments, whether wrong timing or not, maybe some of his teammates is giving his teammates and people a platform to actually have this conversation with them, because maybe he truly believed what he said, you know what I'm saying? But maybe now that dialogue between him and that other person, or somebody that can change him and change those thoughts, can happen. So I guess I'm kind of looking at it from an aspect of, yes, he said it, but I'm hoping that him saying that and creating this array of comments and backlash on him, that can create some type of change in him, that he said, you know what, I really need to think about my thoughts, and how I'm viewing this situations and people kneeling, getting the social injustice in this world. When you're a celebrity, man, you held to a higher standard. And I think a lot of times they get there and they get comfortable. And this is not an excuse for anybody, black, white, Chinese, indifferent, or anything. But I'm saying though, when you're not directly impacted by something, it hits a little bit differently when you are. You know what I'm saying? So I think some of those comments might have been made because he's just like, okay, I'm seeing this a lot, so he made those comments, not realizing that his whole offensive line might be the ones that's got to protect him this next season, and that could be one of their brothers or sisters that's being impacted by everything that you're saying. So it's kind of one of those things you have to look at you have to look at it in a bigger picture. And a lot of times we don't look at things in bigger picture. We look at what's right in front of us instead of what's around us. So that's my thoughts on it. But so
let me add one thing, Jay, and that's just that what you said, you kind of hit it right on the head. Maria Taylor on ESPN, she kind of spoke to some of the same things that you just mentioned, stating that Drew Brees has to have a heart change, right? It has to be a change of heart and not a change of just his mind, right? And I think we all know that when we're dealing with the sports world, that what we've seen in the past is that winning kind of trumps all, right? And no pun intended on that, but it does. like we look at that. We look plenty of situations, but let's just take a look at let's say Kobe, right? Kobe, when he had that little issue with his marriage and that whole little piece back in the day, and people had some ill things to say about him, right? But he comes back, they win, and for the fans' sake, all is kind of forgotten, right? I think this is a bit different than that. And the reason is because Drew can't just say, oh, well, Alvin Kamara, let me go ahead and take you out to dinner. Why don't you come over to the house and let's sit down and talk and let's eat and let's chop it up and get back on good terms. No, there has to be substantial action taken, right? And it's more than just donating money, however much money he wants to donate, because at the end of the day, that's just going to be a big tax write-off for him anyway, or nonprofit write-off for him. So there has to be action. And I think for Drew, that action is going to come in the form of people seeing the reform from him, the reform in his city that he's championing, and also him being on the front lines. So if he's out there on the front lines with his teammates, then they're now seeing the action behind some of his words. Because as a teammate, especially when you're in a sport that's dominated by a particular race, right? You can disagree all day long on a plethora of things. One thing you're not going to be able to really disagree on face to face is a racial issue. And so he's going to have to do those actions to kind of really heal those wounds.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe some of those actions may have to be the protesting that's going on right now. Maybe not necessarily him being directly in the protests, but standing in the podium next to other members of his team or the NFL community, just standing there showing support. And same thing when the season starts, instead of maybe kneeling, stand next to someone who is kneeling on the team to show support. And he keeps talking about being a leader. That's what it takes to be a leader. You got to support your team, support the people around you, build them up. Don't tear them down by trying to give a standard answer to them.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my thoughts.
No, and I 100% agree. Like a lot of times we react, and it's okay. When we react, we can be bold and we can be different. But then when it's time for us to stand up for what we said that we believe in, a lot of times we kind of get hesitant, very hesitant. And it's one of those things where it's going to be between him, God, and what he's going to decide that he needs to do to create that change. And it's, you know, without getting up into it hardcore, we all have to review and figure out what it is for us to create change within our own community and in our everyday walk as well, because we're all impacted by this. no matter what we look like. We're all impacted by this, whether it's through our kids, whether it's through our work, our behaviors, our platform, YouTube, whatever it is. We all have to figure out what that is. But whatever it is, we have to stick by it and be 100% in it. So, Jesus Christ, Kaepernick took his lashing for the last 4 years. Drew got to take his. Healing does not happen in a day. Facts. Exactly. Hopefully it causes change. Make sure you smash that subscribe button. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up. Appreciate it, old man Sneaks. In my opinion, the Black community as a whole can't put on these blinders with these apologies come through to protect legacies. The Black dollar, or even to give a person a voice, those that want to support. We need action. And I 100% agree, man. Action starts not with, hiding behind a computer, making a post, not hiding behind a microphone saying something. Show me. It's like a marriage or anything else, a commitment, a job. Show me that you deserve it. Show me that you want it by the actions that you do. Not telling you, hey Tim, I'm gonna show up to work every day and punch in on time. I'm going to. And then every day I'm 10, 15 minutes late, but I'm going to do it next time. So I wouldn't be surprised if Drew announces his retirement. Hey, Laker Nation. Hey, 824. Hey, Lakers about to win a championship, bro. Anyway.
Hey, that'd be great for Jameis. That'd be great for Jameis.
Yeah, it sure would. It sure. Man, Jameson probably told him, "Hey, listen, man, go say these comments on the
interview." he's got $20 million, enough of a reason not to retire.
Yeah,
so soon. So. And
now the commissioner gives a weak apology. There's so much wrong with the NFL. They don't care. Okay, thank you, Smooth, for transitioning to our next topic.
I like how you did that, Smooth.
Smooth, you smoothly got us in there. It's like you knew what we were talking about. So, Tim, kind of hip everybody up and let everybody know. Well, before we get off into the commissioner's comments, Tim had made the point that LeBron, like LeBron always does. We had the GOAT conversation and we talked about the difference between LeBron and Jordan and stuff like that. And LeBron is a very vocal athlete when it comes to social injustice, civil rights, and stuff like that. So he was one of the many athletes that took to Twitter, made some comments about the Drew Brees comments, and just saying that, you know what, we have family members also that are of the that are not of the Caucasian ethnicity that stood on the front lines, and they battled also. So when we do make this stance, when we do kneel and we protest, it's not saying we're not doing it because of that. You know what I'm saying? So that was huge. But Tim, tell everybody, kind of give us a legitimate, paraphrase of what Roger Goodell comments were.
So Roger Goodell, and I'm gonna just pull up a little bit of
Roger
this here. So Roger went on and he made a statement, right? So he made a statement, but why did he make a statement? Roger made a statement on behalf of the NFL because he is the commissioner, because you had a number of NFL players, Black NFL players, that took a stance and let him know that police brutality is not okay, social injustice is not okay, and that indeed Black lives do matter. And that ranged from their actual player figurehead right now in Patrick Mahomes to Deshaun Watson. You had who else was in there?
Kyler Murray.
Yeah, Kyler Murray, Saquon Barkley, Mike Thomas,
Tyrann Mathieu, and I
believe there were a couple others as well. And so Odell Beckham, Now, the thing about it was, everybody's like, oh, so Goodell out of nowhere now is making this statement. Should we feel good about this? Should we feel like there's some progress being made? But there was a few things that he left out of this this little statement that he made, right? He didn't mention overtly. He didn't mention Colin Kaepernick. He didn't mention the kneeling as a peaceful protest. But he once again said, "Hey, we're going to do some action, and we're going to pledge some money, and I'm fighting with you." So, if you're fighting with us, that leads us to believe or speculate a couple things. Does that mean that Colin Kaepernick is going to get his job back? Does that mean that now 4 years later, that we're actually going to see them be okay with a peaceful protest of kneeling during the national anthem, or kneeling at whatever given moment they feel like kneeling at during the whole NFL processional piece, right? Coincidentally, when Muhammad Ali protested, it was 4 years before he was really allowed back into the sport. He was not blackballed anymore for his protesting, right? And I can't think of it as just coincidence. You know what I mean? Maybe it's a sign from God. I don't know. But 4 years for Muhammad, 4 years right now as we speak for Colin Kaepernick. I don't know what's about to happen, but I'm a true believer in symbolism, and I have to believe that the greatest possibility that Cap has had to get back in the league, I believe, is now. And I think those players that made that video, I think they're going to continue to use their platform, and they're going to continue to push the envelope. Because at the end of the day, I think I know, Jeremy, me and you kind of talked about this 4 years ago with Kaepernick, but I had made a statement one day when we were out playing basketball, and I said, hey, if all of the players, the black players in the NFL decide, hey, I'm not coming to work today, I'm not gonna play football today, and allow these owners and the commissioner to lose out on all this revenue based off of taking a stance, then some things would happen, and they would happen very quickly. And so I think they're in a position, in a power position right now, to make some very strong power moves. And I do think they're going to follow through on them.
All right, so we got Jesus. If there is no apology to Kaepernick, then the NFL apology is invalid. Amir agrees. Fat Jeezy. They apparently gave $89 million. So what have what have they been doing with that reform money? What organization have been funded? Interesting. Chuck.
Chuck.
You there, Chuck?
Chuck.
You there, Chuck?
Hey, Chuck.
Hey, and he went dim this time, so we can't really see him. Chuck. Hold on. Let me bring him back.
Oh, his power went off.
Oh, is that what he texts? Oh man. All right, so we lost Chuck. The NFL trying to the NFL trying to blackball this stream. Hey, maybe will Kaepernick take Drew job? That'll be funny. So my thoughts. I was checking the text. Okay, so Chuck can get here as soon as he can. So my thoughts is that I took a little hiatus from some of the stuff when it came to people's comments and all that, because it's been a lot. Me being a black man, it's been extremely a lot hearing the both sides of the fence, constantly seeing the videos of people being murdered, you know, and it's just been, I had to take a step back emotionally, spiritually for my self mental awareness. I had to. And so when we said we were going to talk about this, I had to go back and kind of look at it. And I seen the apology, and I feel like that it was a strategic move by the NFL to kind of just see where they can go with it. That's why it was so broad and open. So it's kind of one of those things where if I feel like let me say something, because I have to say something, because we've been down for so many years when it comes to this. Let's see if we can save the NFL now. So let me make a comment. I'm not going to make it too specific because I don't want to commit to anything just yet, because I want to see what all my cards are in my deck, kind of like a gambling thing. Okay, let me see. Okay, then as it plays out, we can play the right card and we can get people back. We can get that love back to the NFL. But like you said a while ago, man, those actions, I mean, now you've opened it up. Now you have to act. What does that mean, truly mean, when you say that you are aware now and you're working with, like, what does that mean? You didn't give us much. You gave us enough to give us intrigued and say, okay, let's see what's going to happen. But it's kind of like, until we start seeing those actions, those words could come back and bite you, or it could really make some change, some actual change in the NFL. And it would be amazing to see what Kaepernick has stood for actually create some change in the NFL and see him back in the NFL. I feel like that would be an amazing thing to see. You know, it's we don't think about this though, but check this out. We hear about Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, all these civil rights activists, and depending on how this situation plays out, we literally we're living through somebody that's standing up for civil rights, and we don't view it that way because it has something to do with sports, and because we don't. It's not to the extreme. A lot of people say it's just kneeling. It's not to the extreme as, you know, the marching back in the day. But look at that kneeling that has happened caused the same uproar and dramatic effect as the looting that has been happening. It's crazy. Like how does that be on the same playing field as somebody kneeling peacefully? How does that get the same media attention, everything, as the destruction of property and vandalism by people that actually don't care about the actual movement that's happening? The looting is just looting. Like, let's keep it 100. Like, it's not anything that has to do with what the message that we're trying to get across as African Americans. Not anything. Hold on, let me see. Chuck is back here, but it says, hold on. Oh my, bro, you have to go outside, bro.
Dude, my power went out.
Man, dude, I'm sorry. Yeah, hold on. Let me see. Let me see what Tim. You said a mouthful. We account for at least 85% of the bodies in the NFL and the NBA. I think these stances are to save the
owners.
Owners. I was about to try to decipher it. Uh-oh. She's here. What's up? His statement is going to be vague. Goodel must walk a fine line. The commissioner is elected by the owners.
Yeah. And so somebody made, and to that point, somebody made that statement, I think earlier today. They said, you know, can Goodel actually get Cap a job back? And I think it was Dominique Foxworth was like, well, not really, because at the end of the day, Goodel is a figurehead. You know what I mean? Like, it would have to be the actual team that hires him. It's not Goodel. So she's spot on with that. I mean, and his statements were vague.
This is Goodell's last run as commissioner. He got nothing to lose. He is set by the obligations of his contract for life. Hey, so you know what? And with that being said, you know, maybe he'll do something, you know, make some comments that's extremely for the change, opposed to not for the change. He has already said he will retire at the end of this term. Perfect time to blow up the league right before you leave. LOL. Exactly. That's exactly what I was saying. I agree 100%. He gonna need you as his lawyer because ain't nobody gonna agree with him. So you about to blow up.
Yeah, he doesn't owe anything. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You was gonna say he doesn't what?
He doesn't have to follow what the other 32 owners have to say, just like what they mentioned. He's not tied to them, so he can go ahead and say this. But at the end of the day, he had an opportunity 3-4 years ago to speak on this. It, it's not a to this is my opinion. I don't think it's a genuine response from him. I think he's just saying it just because the momentum is building towards that, and he doesn't want to be on the wrong side of history. I don't believe so. Now he's trying to talk about it, but just like what everybody else is saying too, the best way to show that is to do is to support Kaepernick and bring him find a way to bring him back into the league, and also do just like we talked about with Drew Brees, find ways to take action and support everybody in the league during this troubling time.
I 100%, man. Conflict of interest, since I already represent several players. Got you. Well, never mind.
So to Greg's point, right? I think if I was an NFL player or in charge of the NFL Players Association, right, I would absolutely be talking to the other players, because this is like, again, the timing couldn't be any better to get the change done that you want to see, right? If I said, if Jeremy, Chuck, if you guys, we all play in the NFL, and I say, hey, talk to your teammates and let sit out until they make the changes we want to be made. Everybody's, as far as America's concerned, the consumers are yearning for these sports. You know what I mean? Like when we were talking about it, everybody's groveling at the fact that the NBA is coming back. Oh my God, I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it. I don't care who wins, yada, yada, yada. I just want to see some sports on my TV. I'm tired of looking at
care. I care. I care who wins. Go ahead. My bad. I'm just telling you.
So if we took a stance, and if those boys took a stance and said, hey, we're not going to play, like we're not going to play. So you're not going to, even beyond the COVID stuff and the pandemic stuff and all that, all this testing and stuff you're trying to get in place just in case, bump all of that. We're not playing until X, Y, and Z is done, or until whatever the ask is reconciled, right? They will have no choice but to, because again, 85%. They can't play the league with those remaining players. It won't happen.
Yeah. No. And we talked about this many years ago, Tim. we talked about the impact. We even talked about when the Clippers, when the owner made those comments, and we were like, dude, just don't play. Like everybody, just don't play.
Exactly.
We got my brother here. Get Fit on the Go. Everybody check him out, man. If you kind of flubby and you trying to get in shape and all that stuff, virtual training, Get Fit on the Go on IG. Go ahead and check him out. He does a lot of virtual classes. None of this stuff is genuine. It's all for the gram, and no one wants to be the company, group, or individual that is not saying the right things. PR appearance is everything. I know for a fact if Kaepernick was the face of the league, best player in the league, this would not have happened. But what was done to Kaepernick was completely wrong. Facts. Yeah, Bron and the boys don't take a knee, they whack. Start riding on the back of Cap if I guess it's their turn. All this posting and stuff is for the birds. Let's get some change. Big words. It's this simple. No black in the league, NFL, and NBA will lose money. Of course. So no, some great comments. I mean, I feel like everything that everyone is saying is spot on. Like it comes a point where you gotta start saying to yourself that, and I know everybody's financial situation in the league is different. But when you say when I say I'm gonna make a stand, when I truly, genuinely say I'm going to make a stand, it's got to stop being just vocally some actions has to start happening. Like has to. So actions go a long way. And Kaepernick has been a perfect example. Am I expecting every athlete to do what Kaepernick has done? I mean, it depends on how much you are behind that movement. You know what I'm saying? But when you have that conversation with certain people, they say, "Oh they don't want to leave their money. They got that bag. They got that bag." Well, I mean, it's kind of like one of those things. You have to determine what your stand is. How are you going to create change? And it needs to be it needs to happen. It doesn't need to just continue to be, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna tweet this, because everybody tweets, everybody posts. What is your stand, your actionable stand is gonna create some change. So that's just my 2 cents on it whenever I see it. But hey, don't know, everybody ain't gotta agree with that. But majority of professional league revenue is from television. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. They got them new
I mean,
contracts. Them TV.
I mean, also, I guess that's the thing. If we all stop watching it,
Hey, Chuck, it's getting a little dark there, man.
Yeah, man, you looking like Tim. My bad.
Yeah, it's turning dark outside.
Yeah, hey, so
But
we
also on the TV money.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say with the TV money, you have to also remember too that they're negotiating a new deal also. So just imagine if a lot of people are protesting because of what's going on right now, and that Corona's happening, injustice is happening. It could potentially hurt the bottom line money that's going to come down the line. So that's why I also say too that Roger Goodell's apology just doesn't seem genuine, because if it was, he should have said it a few years ago.
No, I agree. So, oh man, Sneaks got to bounce. 5 a.m. comes quick. Hey man, you be blessed. We appreciate you tuning in. For real. Yeah. Hey, hit me up on IG, man. I would love to have you on one of my lives, bro. Let's see, and hopefully some sort of an endorsement. So let's just say black people got smart, Diddy, Jay, Beyonce, Oprah. I could go on and on. What if they said, if you need, we will pay your fine? Ooh. I mean, they got the bread too. Have a good night, everybody. Hey, you too, man. We appreciate it. So we're not gonna stay on much longer because, man, I'm a Chuck. Hey, I don't know how them skeeters are in Houston, but
in Tampa.
hey, you got that. You got that light skin blood. So they might be eating you up, baby. I don't want you to be out there. We appreciate you sticking with us. So we won't stay on much longer. But last question, and then we'll get out of here. So what does, now that these comments have been made, Goodell has said, you know what? I'm behind. I'm with these people. Like, what changes do we need to see in the NFL for it to be? I'm not gonna say okay. I'm not gonna use that word, but for it to be different, for it to be changed, for it to be better. Hey Chuck, I'm gonna let you go first. That way you can just get off and you can go in, do what you need to do because you ain't got no electricity, all that stuff. So I don't want you to be out and about. But go ahead, Chuck, if you can answer that question.
And the question was, what could Goodell do to make things better?
What does the NFL, like? What changes do we need to see in the NFL now that these comments have been made? What do we need to see for it to be better?
Well, what we need to see is a unified NFL, just like what you see in the NBA, how the commissioner, Adam Silver, supports the players, the coaches support the players, everybody supports one another. That's what you got to see. That's what you have to see in the NFL. You got to, and you're starting to see that with some of the teammates. Like I saw the Denver Broncos go out and protesting as a team together. You need to see that unity in place. We uh, we talk about having rights for all, and during times like this, it needs to act up. And that's just my thoughts.
Okay. Well, Chuck, man, hey, as always, I appreciate you tuning in, chiming in, giving your comments. Hey, take care of Homefront, man, and we'll be here next week, bro. All right.
All right, Chuck. I'll talk to you soon, man.
I can't see him.
All right, y'all take care.
All right,
Thanks
man.
again.
Yes, sir. All right. So, Tim, what does these comments been made? What moving forward? What would you like to see, man? Well, hold on. Let me get to some of these comments before we. Exactly. Don't forget the CBA added extra games this year, which they are currently arguing over. Yeah. Why should we lose out to move forward? We got to understand the power of us together. Nothing will change. Trust me. This is an extremely long shot. Black ownership. Okay. All right, Tim. Man, hold on. Let me do something different. Ooh, that boy big right there, boy. Hey, all right, man. So moving forward, what do you think we need to what would you like to see from the NFL?
So a couple of things. I mean, to start off with, definitely want to see Colin Kaepernick back in the league and welcomed back into the league, not begrudgingly, with open arms, with a solid, sincere apology for the turmoil that they've caused him over the last 4 years over his peaceful protest. And then I also think, and me and Greg I know we agree on or disagree on a lot of NBA stuff, but we're right in sync tonight on this stuff. Black ownership, and because, and I don't necessarily feel that it has to be at that much of a long shot, but Black ownership will also then trickle down to Black executive positions, right? So Black general manager and your Black head coaching and so on and so forth, VP of this and VP of that have Blacks in those positions. I think getting rid of the Rooney Rule and whatever incentive-based rule that they've been trying to kind of float around these last couple of weeks about hiring a Black in this position and then giving some draft picks or higher draft picks as a result of doing so. I think you get rid of all of that type of stuff and you actually allow ownership to happen. And once you start doing that, then I think and then thirdly, I think what's happened also with these players as a result of this last video is I think we've seen in the NBA, most specifically, a lot of these players, they found their voice, right? They found their voice and they know their power. I don't think the NFL players have ever really had that same type of power. I know the money is a little different, but even your star players in the NFL haven't had that same type of voice. And so now when you do have, and these are young men, Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, they're like what, 20, I think they're no more than 24 years old.
Yep.
And so to have them speaking out in that type of manner and to own their power, Pat Mahomes knows I'm the baddest man in the league. I'm the go-to quarterback in the league. So you got him, you got Deshaun, you got Lamar, and Russ. Let those boys step up and say, hey, this is our league, and this is what we want to see done. We're going to go ahead and lead the rest of these players alongside of OBJ, alongside of Dalvin Cook and whoever else in those leaders in those positions to say, hey, we're taking this power back, and we're going to let y'all know that, yeah, while this is the NFL and we are the players here, we have some things that we want to get accomplished. And that being the ownership piece, that being the peaceful protest without all the vitriol attached to it. I think they can get it done. And that is some of the action that we need to see happen. And I think quickly.
Man, that's a mouthful, man. I agree with you. Let me get you off this big screen so they can see something that look good. Hold on. Boy, you know I had to mess with you, boy. Boy, okay, let's see. We got some comments that's about to trickle in. It's just delayed, man. This StreamYard is super delayed. That I wanted to pop up. Okay, here we go. I agree with black ownership. Gonna be a long road though when you have the Jerry Joneses of the world involved. New owners must be approved by league vote. Facts. And this is a very good question that I'm about to pop up here. What would Cap end up playing? We will address that, and we'll get your thoughts on that, Tim, here in a second. Let me see. Sorry, fellas, got to bounce. Hit me up. Blessed. All right, appreciate it, Greg. Thank you for tuning in. So I agree with you. Look, Jeremy, don't do my bad. My bad. She gonna get me arrested.
Thank you, Nicole.
Cause that boy Tim need a no, he don't, man.
Hey, that's my cousin Adrian, man. Settle down, man. You ain't got no haircut either. I seen you recently.
Hey, see, look at him. Look, doing exactly what we talking about. Hide behind them posts.
Right, you ain't got your picture.
Hey, where your picture? Where your picture, Adrian? Oh man, he'll probably go and get an old picture and put it up there somewhere. He's all fresh cut and stuff like that. But hey, no, Tim, I agree with you 100%. Black ownership would be awesome. But let me kind of push the envelope a little bit because I know that's not going to happen right now, right away. So for this next season, what I would like to see happen is not so much from the NFL, but from the African American athletes. I would love for everybody to be uniform and figure out, you know what, if this is the way it's gonna be, let us take a stand. Like this is what our stand is gonna be, even if it means not playing the game of football for some games, or maybe let's say those highly anticipated games, these players say, you know what, I'm not going to play. You need me to play this game. What kind of stand would that mean? I'm not saying every game, but those big games, if all of the African-American athletes said, you know what, boom, we're not going to play. Because you know what, you say that it's wrong for us to kneel during the national anthem, but this is my job. I can call out sick anytime I want to, baby. Like, I mean, I don't feel like going to work tomorrow. I ain't going in. So I feel like that would be, I would love to see that. Not okay, you know what? Let me change that. I'm not gonna say I would love to see that because that's messing with somebody's money. This is the fans, stuff like that. I wouldn't love to see that. But what I'm saying is that everybody on the same accord, because let's be real, the season is gonna start back and we're not gonna be where we want it. It's not gonna be where we want it to be. It's still gonna be us having to kneel and figure out what that peaceful protest is gonna look like. In the NBA, look how many times players sit out games for no reason. Like that's just what they do to preserve their body. Oh, I don't feel like playing. I'm gonna miss 40 games. If we say, you know what, I'm gonna miss some games, some of these key games, everyone, and we put it out there via social media, whatever. Hey, we will miss games this year. Just letting you guys know that we will miss some major games if change doesn't happen. I would like to see that happen this season. I feel like that would take a stand. I feel like everybody has to be on the same accord, whether you agree with it or not. Like you have to be on the same accord because that's the way change happens when we're unified and when we do that. But just my opinion, though.
And I agree with you, Jeremy. And I'll just say this: I know that some of the fans might feel a certain way if that were to happen. But however many hundreds of dollars it costs to go to one of these games or whatever the case for your ticket, I would give that and then some to see that happen, to see what you just said happen. If they unified and said, and let's just, and I want to take the ante up a little bit, right? So not just like a normal Sunday game or Monday night game. Now let it get to like the NFC championship game and they say, boom, this is the time. We ain't playing.
Yep.
Oh, I'm there for it. All of
it. Yep. I 100% agree. Even if it's your Bucks. Let's see here.
Yeah. I want to be in the stadium when it happened too.
You're gonna be right there. Oh man. Hey, if I pay the money for the tickets, I'm going anyway. Let's see. Would be nice. Some players won't do that until they've met their minimum game requirement to stay on the active roster. Yeah, and I know, you know, I get that. It's a lot of litigations that goes along to it. It's a lot of background stuff that we don't know about, you know, and that's also huge, super, super huge. And thank you for pointing that out, because a lot of times we say people ain't about the movement, or they not, but we don't know they got families and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And everybody's situation is a little bit different, and they can choose to be, they can choose to make change a different way. But I mean, everybody needs to be making some type of change. Boom. Okay, look at her. Boom.
Boom. Drop the mic.
Steve. That sounds good, and I would like to see that type of stand. But now that's messing with people's pockets. Exactly. That's what I was saying. You know, fairy tale world, man. But I mean, that's when that person, that individual person, has to determine what that change, what if it's more important their pockets or what they're standing for. Like, you know, and I'm not the person to make that decision for them. You know what I'm saying? I have a family too. They don't want to be sued by their team owners either. You know, and it's listen, and this is that it's so many different things that we can throw up, but that's when making a stand. I think that's when, let me see, and of course you're gonna have some Terry Crews. I can't with her. But yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. When you're taking a stand, sometimes all that stuff, you know, is like secondary. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I mean, not the Terry, not the Terry Crews. Like, y'all, okay. You know what?
Hey, but here's the thing. Like, I understand, you know, people's pockets. What you said, Nicole, about being sued by the owners. Like, I feel like, you know, the head of the NFLPA, they could get the right type of counseling from different attorneys and lawyers to let them know what exactly, you know, they have to do. So if those minimum requirements were met by the playoff game, like I kind of gave that hypothetical, or some of the more paid players, or the NFLPA saying, hey, okay, well, we'll kind of give you a little stimulus, right, to help you out for some of those younger players who maybe can't make those ends meet if they take that stance. But at the end of the day, somebody's got to kind of put a fork in the ground and say, boom, we gonna take this stand to get the change that we want.
Yeah, even if it's the players, the big time players that's making the money that can afford to. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Even if it's those, like, right. But it needs to be more than just one. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It needs to be a group of players. Like, and it's some players out there that can afford to miss 2 or 3. There's some players out there that can afford to miss the whole season, to be honest with you. They can afford the lawsuits, they can afford all that. Like, but I mean, like I said, it's easier for me to say that sitting in this room with these shoes behind me with this earplugs in on this live. It's very easy for me to say that, you know. Right. We got Candace Owens types. Some of them got 50 kids and 9 baby mamas. Girl, stop. Come on now. I noticed Ray Lewis been extra quiet lately. All right,
okay.
Jeezy. All right,
okay.
Jeezy.
Saying something.
All right, Jeezy. All right, man. Somebody screen share this and tag Ray Lewis in it. No, don't do that. I'm just playing.
Tag all Hurricane fans.
Yeah. But yeah, man. No, it's been one of those things. Tim, I appreciate it, man. We gonna get off here. We're gonna get off here, man. It's been an hour we've been on. I feel like that we addressed a lot of things. Any closing statements? Hold on now. Anything that you want to leave with the people, man?
Yeah, man. Definitely want to leave this with you guys. So I know the last really 2 weeks has been really challenging for a lot of people. I know it's been really challenging for myself. And I kind of hit a bit of a boiling point late last week. And I'll be honest with you, it was actually the day of George Floyd's funeral. I have a 5-year-old daughter, Erilyn, and she came to me that day and asked and said, "Hey, Daddy, why is everybody, who is George? Who's Mr. George, and why is everybody so sad. And for me to have to sit there and explain, and I did, because I do believe in full transparency and speaking to my children in a manner in which they can understand. But for me to have to sit there and explain to her what's going on, why, and she's very smart. So she's asking all these follow-up questions like, so why did this happen? And why did they do that? And this and that. And for me to have to explain that to my 5-year-old daughter took me to a place that I really didn't want to be, didn't know that I could be. And so shortly thereafter that, I attended this men's mental health forum, Black men's mental health forum. Something just told me I should go to it, listen to what these licensed therapists had to say. And, I just want to leave you all with this. I know that the world is crazy right now. It's a lot going on, and it's a lot to deal with, especially if you're a Black man. And so what I would urge anybody that's watching this live is to take a little bit of time to yourself to maintain your mental peace. And whether that outlet is, you can find an outlet, anything that is legal, right? So I found myself protesting last week. I found myself praying more than I normally do. And I pray on a very regular basis, but praying more. I started journaling. I've never been a person to journal, but I started journaling just to get these thoughts out, put them down on paper. I went to the gun range to let out a little steam as well. And I cycle. I like to ride my bike. And I think the combination of those things allowed me just to kind of escape, even if just for a very small minute, some of the harsh realities. I can sometimes get inundated with what's going on and seeing all these things on social media, and that can kind of drive my peace down. I also made a conscientious decision to pull away from some of that as well. But I just want to leave that with you all. Take some time for yourself to maintain your mental peace. And at the end of all of this, I know we've talked a lot about on the sports stuff, and all of that is true from our opinion. But I will say this, I also do believe that you have to make a change at a local level, at a state level, and at a national level. And you have an opportunity to do that in this upcoming election. So if you, I hope that everybody is registered to vote, but at the end, when it comes time, make sure that you cast your vote. And thank y'all for tuning into the live.
All right, appreciate it, Tim. Man, I mean, I second everything that you said, bro. Let me throw some of these comments. Oh, so basketball get 2 hours and we only get 1 hour. Yep. Football, yep. Because football only what 16 games in the year. So yeah, they only get half an hour. Good words, bro. Good show, guys. Solid advice, Tim. Yeah, no, definitely, Tim. I 100% agree with you. For everybody that rock with my page, my channel, y'all already know that I had the discussion with my daughter as well. I've also made a couple of videos about my son being a young Black male that has a disability, and how, the older that he gets, just the fear of him being pulled over or him being out in a public area and him not obeying the commands that people tell him because he's nonverbal. And that's a scary thought for me, being a Black man and my son being a Black kid. But just like you, man, I had to release, man. I had to turn off all social media. I had to dig deep into my word. I had to pray a lot more than I normally pray. I even thought about fasting, because it's like so many opportunities that I have to have conversations with people that don't understand what it means to be a Black man and why I use my platform the way that I use my platform. I never want my words to come across aggressive or destructive. I never want that. So I had to take a second to back out, pray about it, because I want my words to be God driven when I have these conversations with people. Because at the end of the day, the only person that can create change and that can allow our votes to matter is Jesus Christ. So I have to understand that His will be done, and sometimes I want it to be done right away. And so I had to unplug and refuel myself, get my vision back focused, and God has prepared me. I'm mentally and spiritually, emotionally ready for any questions that anybody has to ask me. And sometimes, you left with some advice. My advice to a lot of people is going to be, sometimes social media might not be the platform that you need to address some of your concerns. Sometimes you might need to DM that person and talk to them on a one-on-one level, because sometimes when we are on social media, we tend to already be on 10. And sometimes we need to listen, and then we need to speak. So sometimes they may need to get out some of the things they have to say. And we might not like what they have to say when we're listening, but God's going to provide us that avenue and that opportunity to change their heart. And if we're going to every conversation saying that we want to create change, then it needs to be more than just, you need to understand what I feel like as a Black person. No, you need to understand what it feels like to be a human being and see what's going on in this world, because it's not right and it's not good. So I could go on and on. I'm in my True Tuesday mode, so y'all stay tuned for that tomorrow. but I just want to leave you guys with unplug, man. Spend time with your family. Tomorrow is not promised. I appreciate you guys tuning in every week. This is what we do. Comment, DM me on IG. Let me know what you guys think we need to talk about next week. There's a lot of things that we can talk about, and we'll be chopping up again next week. I appreciate everybody in the panel commenting. I think everybody hit the like button, so I appreciate that. But we are gonna sign out of here right now. You guys be blessed. We gone.